You're back to the verdict. We're coming to you live from our headquarters in Lagos. Yes, we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the key issues to be considered. The big day tomorrow, even today, election eve. We've got Wale Ogwande, who is the president, Voter Awareness Initiative. Thank you for coming on this morning. Well, it's election eve again. Looking forward to the big day tomorrow, even though it's well, yes, it's elections, but some people expect some sort of difference tomorrow because after that of the presidential elections, the governorship and state houses of assembly elections comes with its own dynamics. It's more local, so more connected to the people at the grassroots level, including the hinterlanders, let's say. But what do you see happening tomorrow?
Well, first and foremost, the test is there, the die is cast. Don't forget, the cliche is that all politics is local. So we are getting to the local. We call it the center of the center now. We have left the ferry. The ferry was the presidential election. Now you are going to the grassroots itself. And don't forget, the Orwellian, George Orwell's thing will come to play here. That's the animal farm. The Lord of the Manor. Don't forget that whoever controls the level of government at the state level controls everything. In fact, they are the general. In fact, you can remember that during the Obasanjo era, the state governors were the ones that indeed we are controlling
Isn't
until
that
now.
Normal? Sorry,
it's not normal, but unfortunately, that's how we've gotten to ourselves into. Because the governor is the one that controls the machinery, everything, the apparatus of government. So at the state.
It means we haven't gotten to the stage where, even though they control the levers of power at the center, they will be afraid of the people on election day.
We are getting there. Because as it is now, the people are not factored in. They believe that they have already bought the votes of the people, and once they get there, they now control the people. And we are taking it to the next level after these elections. And that's the work of every one of us. Because we must take Nigeria out of this grip. It's an unusual thing. The governor particularly must be the leader. He must see himself first and foremost as the leader, responsible to the people. But we found out that they don't care. They care less about the people because one way or the other, some godfathers have placed them and put them in positions of authority. So their allegiance is to the godfather and the political people that brings them in. But when it now comes to the people having a say, you know, we have gone a long way in this route, that people care, we are not factored in before, but now the votes have been counting. And that's why we are saying that the next process, that's the next election, maybe even we'll start it with the various off-cycle elections in the next, Anambra, I guess, or Edo State, will be the first that will come. Then we'll now test on this idea that the people then will have a say. And that's when we'll now look at the principle of deliverables. What are your promises? Have you delivered on these promises? But now coming back to the issue on ground, maybe later we'll be discussing this. Because of all these things that you have said, it is a winner takes all. So it is a do and die, as Obasanjo has said some time ago. They see that my life depends on this, my future depends on this, and I must do everything too. And you see all the the house trading, the last minute, till tomorrow. You can be sure that the till can change. In the next 24 hours, you can see that even somebody who thinks he's already coasting home, some other arrangements will come again, and you see some people deserting him. It has happened because there is no pedigree, there is no political culture, there is nothing. Everything is about interest.
You know, some of the key components, or one of the key components for the big day tomorrow is INEC's preparedness.
Yes.
We looked at it the last time before the presidential election, and this time, yes, we've heard the chairman of INEC speaking about what they expect to happen tomorrow, but a lot of focus will be on those resident electoral commissioners, how they will conduct themselves. Do you really think that this time they might have learned lessons from the presidential, and as such, they will get it right, say, if not 100%, but above 90%?
I want to believe they will get it right. Because with the avalanche of condemnation, even from the top, obviously they will want to sit up. Don't forget the Rex too. Everyone have their names at stake now. They know that the stakes is even high. And they know that all eyes are on them, both the opposition, the international and the local observers, the media, everyone is on them. And we thank God for the way things have moved now. Before, elections in Nigeria is an undercap business. People just get in. Do you hear about primaries before? But
so
now,
what changed?
Sorry?
What changed?
No, the level of awareness, programs like this, activities that people like us, then the social media, then of course the various information that has been coming up, that indeed this is the time to do it, but we've not gotten there. I'll tell you really, I'm disappointed with the percentage, 35% in the last presidential election, but want to look at it, maybe it is the presidential election. We'll wait and see the percentage in the governorship election, because you know this is a local politics now.
But what do you expect? Do you expect that it will perhaps be much higher? Because if it touches the lives of the people, people want to see basically that our lives improve, welfare,
yes,
education,
yes,
access to housing,
yes,
better pay, as Labour has always canvassed. So these are very, very important things.
Yes.
Do you see that happening an octave higher, at least, after these elections?
That's where I'm going. That, you see, just as we started the discussion, this election is different from the presidential. This one is now personal. Ego will now be at play. And don't forget, and that's why you see, before the presidential election, there was no horse trading that we saw. All of the political parties went their own way to your 10 to you Israel, as it were. But now they are now looking at it, joining forces together, saying, if this one goes away, 4 years away, for the next 4 years, I'll be in the doldrums, and it won't happen. Everyone has looked at it, they've gone around, they have gone to the grassroots. Don't forget, the presidential election, they just took it for granted. But the result of the presidential election has now brought in some elements of political realignment all over the states, all over Nigeria. Right. So to that extent, you see, in the South-South, in the North Central, in the Northeast, in the Southwest, in Lagos, in Ogun, in Imo, all over now, there is alignment, because they know that, yeah, this is the nitty-gritty of it. And to get that, they have to go, you see, the level of house-to-house campaign has improved. They have topped up their game. So the number of people who will come out to vote will be higher than last election.
Let's talk about the voter this time. This has one of the things, the political alignments and realignments that you talked about now. Some would want to vote for a particular person as governor,
yeah,
and a different person for House of Assembly.
Yes.
We saw a bit of that, during the presidential elections.
Yes.
Do you think my constituency, the hinterlanders, do you think they are educated enough? Do you think they have been well educated enough to know the difference? Because it is one person that is going to campaign to them, but they're not going to see the person's name or face on the ballot paper.
Fortunately, I was in a meeting some few days ago where this scenario painted itself out. And they were telling their people, for this post or for this office, this is the people. And for you to know, there's no need of stressing yourself. It is a symbol. This is the symbol. Unfortunately, maybe they are now listening. You know, the last time I came here, I said that the politicians are the beneficiaries of not teaching or educating their voters. Because at the end of the day, the void votes goes to nowhere. And if they have educated their people, those voice votes will go to one or two of them, and it will make the difference. One vote can make a whole lot of difference. So they now took it. In fact, you need to see the stress. They were, in fact, stressing it that for this one, it is this symbol. And they used the sign, and they brought it out. And for this other person who is a man too, it is this symbol. Please note it. Fortunately, there will be 2 ballot papers that will be given to you. So you ask, or if you are not too sure, you see it and all they explained. But then, that does not mean that there won't be any mistake. I told you the other day, during the governorship, during the governorship election in Osun, I was in a polling unit as an observer, trying to see. I wanted to see how people, how do I call it now? Advise, no, it's not advice. Monitor how they vote. You know, with the issue of using the phone is out of it now. So I stood by the cubicle, away a little bit, watching the woman and watching the people that are monitoring, because the political parties have a way of monitoring who and how the vote goes. So The woman came, an elderly woman. She thumb-printed on the ballot on the sign of a party. And all of a sudden, it was a chorus, "Hey, Mama!" that you have made a mistake. And out of it, Mama now quickly put another hand somewhere. Then I was like, "Oh, Mama!" Because there was a confusion. But again, we'll take it there. You can be sure that gradually. But what I know definitely is that the result this time around will be better than the last presidential election, because a whole lot of activities have gone on. They too have seen their mistakes. And there have been a whole lot of house-to-house campaign, education, and so on.
But still on INEC, though, because a lot we have to rest with the activities of INEC and how it's able to conduct and organize its staff for this, for tomorrow, for next tomorrow. For tomorrow.
For tomorrow.
Yeah. For tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay, but the issue of the card reader.
Yes.
It was so widely spoken about. And complaints were there just about everywhere, especially up north, about the card reader failing at some point. And even at instances when it failed, it was supposed to have been replaced, and we didn't get to that point for those places, and they felt really disenfranchised. In Bayelsa State, for instance, now, INEC has reported to us that there are about 63 card readers that are missing there. Some people have, looked at it and said, if 63 card readers could be missing in a state, it goes to underscore that perhaps INEC is not as prepared as it thinks it is. But what do you think? Will that in any way be a major source of concern, especially for the people of Bayelsa State?
To me, I hope INEC will not, just as I said earlier on, that they have topped their games and learned from their mistake. That's a common human thing, that you have made a mistake and you are in the eye of the world or the eye of the storm, then you correct it so that people don't look at you that it seems this man is irresponsible. And INEC must be, of course, it is a responsible organization and they should do that. But be that as it may, the second leg again was that before the elections, we saw that there were many of these places that these materials were kept that were either touched or that they were boggled and so on. One would have expected that by now enough security will have been provided. It's not just about meeting the IG and getting the assurances of the IG, but asking the NEC or the RAC or whoever that, my man, that place, your place, is it secured? No, sir. He calls the IG, please, can you tell your commissioner of police to reinforce that place? I guess it's a simple thing.
Do you think that those card readers can be retrieved?
No, I'm going somewhere. The retrieving it may be another issue. Why know that? That's how I'm going, that a responsible organization will know the Nigerian factor to add it to it, particularly with in Nigeria. Where I'm going is that there will be an extra. As we sit here now, I know that for this program now, it's not just these 3 cops that you have. There's a possibility that if one falls off, and of course somebody quickly needs you, there will be a replacement. So it's a natural thing.
Our cops are not card readers.
No, I'm just giving an example. Right, so for the card reader, let me just bury this quickly. For the card reader, where I'm going is that definitely it's not just the number exactly that we are brought in. If not, I know that, of course, there's what they call supplementary, because everybody must be involved. So if the card reader fails, it's a question of just telling these people that we are going to bring it, or the next day we'll continue the elections.